Cool. I think we should start. People will join. It will be recorded anyway, so yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's dive in. So awesome. Thanks so much for everybody who's joining. This is going to be super cool. Jérôme and I are very excited to be presenting to you. This is actually a two-part series. This is part one of the Oncrawl and ChatGPT. Today, we're focusing on tracking ChatGPT indexation and visibility with our Oncrawl logs analysis. My name is Janaina. I'm a senior technical SEO here at Oncrawl. Actually, Jérôme just reminded me, it's been 4 years. I joined not long after you. So it's really crazy that it's gone by so quick. I'm really happy to actually collaborate with you on this. You've been like deep into this subject for a while, so you're bringing a lot for us to talk about. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you, Jana. Yeah, 4 years. So the first time we do a webinar together. So I'm also part of the customer success team. I'm a senior tech SEO. Used to be an Oncrawl user, working for as a technical SEO for a real estate company. Yeah, and now we help the clients better use the platform, and happy to do that to go through this topic today.
Nice.
It's actually to go deep in it.
Yeah, for sure. Nice. We have some good stuff. Maybe just to go through some items you're probably thinking. We said hey to everybody. Just to remind you, there will be a replay at the end. So you're going to receive an email actually in a couple of days so that you can check this out. So don't worry about that. Don't hesitate to ask any questions that you may have as we're going through any of the slides. We don't think we're going to be able to go through them as we're actually presenting, but there's a dedicated questions tab. So go ahead and drop them there. We're going to have some dedicated time at the end so that we can actually go over your questions. So don't worry about that. For what we cooked up for today, the agenda, we're going to start with talking about the global search context, just to kind of ground us a little bit. We'll go into what is ChatGPT search, how does it work, optimizing for ChatGPT search, is it actually possible? We'll go through the OpenAI crawlers, indexation, visibility in ChatGPT search, using actually Oncrawl's log analysis to see what does this actually look like visually in the dashboards, the type of insights that you can grab from them. We'll do a recap on the key takeaways. Jérôme will actually walk us through what's next in this two-part series, and then we'll have that Q&A. But actually, Jérôme, you want to tell us a little bit about the second part?
Yes. So today will only be about the data, about understanding how ChatGPT search works in depth. And the next webinar will be more about how to be visible in ChatGPT. So using that data to actually start ranking in ChatGPT search. So yeah, this will be the second part. So if you have questions about this, we'll keep them for the next webinar.
Yeah, for sure. So don't hesitate. Start registering now because I think this is going to be a really good one to actually attend. So, all right, let's keep going. So global search context, just to kind of give us an idea of what we're currently working with, or currently the landscape, actually, when we're talking about search engine market share. Probably a few of you folks who have already joined, you've taken a look at some of these stats, but in terms of worldwide, Google is still holding at least around 78% of search engine market share. So we're not entirely surprised. This is desktop information. This is taken back from January 2025, followed by Bing and Yahoo. So even though folks are still Googling, Google still dominates in terms of search engines. Local influence still makes a difference. So we have Yandex in Russia, Baidu in China, Yahoo in Japan, and Mexico as well. But what's interesting to take a look, when we're looking at a 10-year period, it's actually clear the progression that Bing has made against Google in the last 10 years. So just looking at the stats, in 2015, Google was sitting at around 81%. Bing was at 4.53%. Bing now is at 12.23%. So this is important, actually. We're going to be talking a little bit more on how this is related to ChatGPT search, but just to kind of give you a base of what we're working with. Something interesting, Jérôme, could you walk us through the timeline of when ChatGPT search actually makes its appearance?
Yes. So last summer, July, there was the launch of the prototype, so Search GPT, so including access to internet for ChatGPT. And then in October, this prototype became part of ChatGPT as a feature, and it becomes ChatGPT search. The following months, according to a study from RightEdge, there was a monthly growth of referral traffic from ChatGPT.com up to 44%. And in December, they registered that ChatGPT is generating 6 times more clicks than Perplexity. So ChatGPT is becoming a source of traffic for a source of, let's say, organic traffic, let's say. And this year, the potential capture of the growth would be 1% capture of the market share of the search engines. So AI search engines, they are disrupting the usage, we know, but still Google remains dominant when you see it's only 1% so far. But yeah, it's growing so fast and changing so fast that there is a huge potential here.
Yeah, definitely.
And here, we had, when it says 1% market share, is only for the search activated. So we're not talking about all the other prompts users are doing on ChatGPT offline.
Yeah, that's a good distinction actually to make when we're actually talking about this. So actually jumping into what is ChatGPT search. If it's not something that you're using, maybe you are. I have a feeling that some of us for sure are kind of playing around with it. What is it? How does it work? In terms of actually as a user, you can either manually start the prompts or search when you're entering your prompt. So what we see in blue, or it's going to depend on the type of question that you're asking. It's going to be related to if you're asking for a specific source or a link, you're looking for local information that requires up-to-date results, or you're asking for some sort of official documentation, So we know Jérôme is in Bordeaux. So a question that we potentially could ask when we're using ChatGPT search is, what is the weather like in Bordeaux today? Or what are the latest reviews on an iPhone 15? Another one could be, what is OpenAI Charter PDF? And so this would initiate the prompt for ChatGPT search. The idea behind the actual results or in the answers is that they're linking. There's actually two key distinctions: is the links to the relevant web sources and also the citations when it's actually providing you that answer. So it's blending kind of natural language with that up-to-date information using real-time search. This is key as well from third-party providers. So we kind of hinted to that earlier if you're not familiar. So the idea is that the answers are a bit better and the citations are used to kind of back up the answers that are being provided to you.
Yes.
When it comes... No, go ahead.
Yeah, just what I was going to say. What is really changing it that this feature is bringing traffic. Since you have links, users can click on it. And that's the opportunity. And also the other opportunity is that, like you said, it's automatically activated in some cases if the prompts requires. So it's not only when user decides to make a search. So
yeah, that's it. So
that's an opportunity for SEOs.
Yeah, so you could even play around if you haven't already, just to see when it actually switches to ChatGPT search. When it comes back to us as SEOs, or those of us in the digital marketing landscape, how can we actually optimize for ChatGPT search? How do we make sure our content is delivered there, let's say as a link or a citation? Is it something that's actually possible? What do we need to know, Jérôme, in terms of the whole concept of it?
Yeah, so since it's a growing source of traffic, if you want to start optimizing, it's just like for SEO, you need to understand the mechanism, how this search feature is actually working. And also you need to be able to measure and monitor your efforts. Otherwise, you won't know if you're going the right direction. So, and those are the two questions we'll try to answer today, basically.
Nice.
So yeah, there is the challenge of reliable data. So since there is no Google Search Console for ChatGPT, and traditional SEO metrics are not available or meaningless, such as keyword search volume, average position doesn't make sense as well. Impression clicks and CTR are not available as well. And you don't know the state of indexation, so you don't know if your web pages are even accessible to that ChatGPT search feature. But still there are things you can do. For sure.
So in terms of what's challenging with the data that we have available, we know what our users, or what are those in the digital marketing using right now to actually track what's available. So we know in GA4 you can add it as a dimension to actually track referral traffic. The only thing is there's not enough information to fully measure all your efforts at this point. You also have the option to scrape ChatGPT search answers, visibility tracking tools, but we also know the user queries and the search volume remains only assumptions at this point. So this kind of ties back to why should we actually start using our logs for this type of analysis? Can you walk us through that?
Yes, so OpenAI is using different crawlers to run ChatGPT. And while those crawlers are accessing your website, they will leave valuable clues that you can use. And this is available in your server logs. And it will answer the indexation part, so being able to verify that ChatGPT has access to your content. Visibility side, this bot traffic can be used as a visibility metric as well. And it might be one of the best sources of insights so far for indexation and visibility tracking in ChatGPT search.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of useful information actually that we can be working with for our logs. So since you already dropped that in terms of the crawlers, can you tell us a little bit about OpenAI crawlers? What are their names? You good? You okay?
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. So Jérôme was mentioning, so there are OpenAI crawlers that are used to actually go. We're familiar with ChatGPT bot in terms of collecting information for model training, but could you tell us a little bit more? What are they and what are their main functions?
Yes, sure. So different bots for different tasks and different features. So you have the offline bot, GPT bot. So this one is really for model training. Sorry, I'm losing my voice.
No, it's okay. You want me to jump in?
And ChatGPT search is using two other bots, so ChatGPT user and OpenAI search bot. One is for user query in real time, so to answer the questions. And the other one is about improving the search feature itself, and it's working asynchronous to this process.
Okay, yeah.
And so that's the first insight we can get here is that, so you need to allow, you can allow or disallow OpenAI crawler case by case. So the ones that are for AI search and AI training separately. So you might, if you want to appear in the results, you need to allow both OpenAI search bot and ChatGPT user in your web system. But on the other hand, like if you don't want ChatGPT to train its models on your content, you can still block and disallow ChatGPT bot, but still appear in ChatGPT search results. So that's a great opportunity, for example, for medias who want to keep their content and don't want the model to train on their website. Also, it could be a good opportunity also to reduce costs because this ChatGPT bot is crawling a lot. And we'll see in our demo that he's also crawling pages that are not useful for SEO, a lot of them. So yeah, it could be a good strategy.
Yeah, so it's nice that we have the leverage of, if we still want to be careful of the content that's used for training, we can just simply disallow and make sure that the content that we do want served in a response in ChatGPT search, that we're giving access. So this is key. In terms of OpenAI search crawlers.
Yes, so just to say that ChatGPT user and OpenAI search bot are the key bots to monitor for SEO in ChatGPT search because the system relies on them. So ChatGPT will crawl, so ChatGPT user will crawl your website to answer a user in real time. So that's an indicator for visibility. And OpenAI search bot will crawl to sort of index, and we'll see this in details and improve the search process. So it's going to be more useful to track indexation process.
Yeah, nice. So that's good to know in terms of the two most that we're going to be looking at actually later on.
And maybe Janaina, about log analysis, if you want to tell us more about how it's actually working for those who are not familiar with this process.
Yeah. So if you've never used log before, if this is going to be your first time, how it works is, let's say anytime yourself or a bot visits a site, it's going to leave a record, and that record is going to be in the form, let's say, of a log line. That log line is actually what contains the key information to process and actually be able to have some visibility. In this context, ChatGPT, OpenAI crawlers, your log line is going to contain the URL that was visited, the exact date and time actually of that visitation or referral traffic information, for example. It'll have the user agent so that you can have the distinction between the different bots, that referrer field that I just mentioned, so that you'll know the source of that visit and actually the status code of the URL. So at the time when someone clicked on it or a bot visited the page, did it respond in a 200? Did it come back with some sort of server related error? So it's key information actually when we're looking to analyze a lot of this content. If you've never looked at a log line, these are examples. This is what the content actually looks like. So here we're looking at the 3 user agents for OpenAI. We can see in yellow, we're highlighting actually the user agent field. So this would be a requirement to make sure that you're actually able to use your log files to analyze some of this information. When it comes to actually looking at referral traffic or ChatGPT clicks, how does that work, Jérôme? Can you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, so you mentioned that to capture bots traffic, you look at the user agents. Also, we look at the IP address to make sure it's not a fake bot pretending to be a search engine. Here, we look at the referrer. So referrer is the previous page of this bot or of this user. And if the previous page is chatgpt.com, we know that this person clicked in a link in ChatGPT and is now visiting your website. So that's how we capture traffic from chatgpt.com. And it works the same for Google, for Bing, and we are able to do that with log analysis. And actually, it works better than analytics tools because there is no tracking issues. There is no cookie consent issues as well, no sampling. It's like full data available. Of course, if you have access to all your log lines. And so really interesting. Plus, not all the links in ChatGPT search results have a UTM. So this is also sort of fixing that tracking issue.
Mm-hmm. So there's I would say, almost leveraging your logs is going to be key when we're looking at some of this. So as we dive a little bit deeper, when we talk about what does indexation mean and visibility in ChatGPT search, I don't think it's necessarily indexation in the way that we're used to, but can you walk us through that?
Yes. So let's look at the process from a prompt to a click. So you have a prompt from a user, he gets an answer, and then he clicks. But between the prompt and the answer, there is this, when search is activated, ChatGPT will turn the prompt into a search query. And this search query is sent to a third-party search engine that they're using, so mainly Bing. They get search results, so that is basically a list of URLs with title and description, just like you would have in Google or Bing. Some of these results will be crawled by ChatGPT to actually gather the content. And then they use both the results, this content, and they choose what's relevant, and they build the answer. And you have citations. So citations is for the part that is being used to answer. And then you have the full list of sources. And this actual full list is the list of the search results. We don't know the search query. We don't know how ChatGPT transformed this search query, but there are interesting things we can share. So let's deep dive into this process. So first, OpenAI's role in this process. So if we just look at this, so he's going to work on improving the way ChatGPT is interacting with this third-party search engine, and also going to work on having better answers and identifying better results. So yeah, that's really the part he's involved. And this is not happening at the time of the search query. It's a asynchronous process.
Okay.
So yeah, a bit more details about this real-time search process. So the user prompt is transformed into a search query, and this takes into account the conversation and the user context. So it might be different if you're logged in, if you're logged out, if you had other previous prompts before. So this will be taken into account. And we don't know what the search query is, of course. So the real-time search is using this query, and it's mainly using Bing, but also news partners. And in some cases, and probably if you made some tests or read articles about it, you saw that they are also using other indexes, sometimes Google Maps. So probably there is a fallback process. If Bing has no results, then they might be using Google. So yeah.
Okay. So maybe if you can walk us through the crawling process actually for
search. Just a couple more things I wanted to say about.
Sorry, Jérôme.
Yeah, and ChatGPT will surface all the search results, so a list of URLs. And basically, OpenAI search bot complements this process. Like it's like an overlay of this process to improve it over time. That's the rule.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Sorry, let me come to the next one.
Yeah.
So this is what I was referring to in terms of like the actual crawling process for OAI search bot.
Yes, so this search bot is not like Google. He's not crawling the web, let's say, randomly. He crawls Bing's search results, mainly, and search index as well, to locate the relevant pages during web browsing. So, and so this means that if your page is indexed in Bing, there is much more likely to appear in the results and be visited by this bot. But still, this bot can reach your pages if he has the exact URL or if this page is linked from other index sources. But discoverability will be limited.
Okay, so I think it's key to consider that actually being indexed in Bing is making a difference, at least.
Yes.
I don't know how significant we can say of a difference, but if you're not already tracking your visibility in Bing, this might be a good time, right?
Yeah, and we'll cover this part in the next webinar on strategies to be more better indexed in Bing using the tools that they provide, and also some ranking strategies that are not working on Google but working on Bing.
That's true. Nice. Indexation process. What does that look like actually for ChatGPT search?
Yes, so this is probably the most confusing part, but I had discussion with the OpenAI support team to clarify things, even if they don't really explain exactly how it's working. So it's indexing, but not in the traditional search index way for like Google or Bing. So this bot is collecting data and processing this data, but it's not maintaining an index, ChatGPT index. This data is collected to improve how ChatGPT will interact with the third party. So it's sort of fixing the search results and also the relevance of the search results. So it has an impact on sort of rankings, like really an overlay. At the time the query is sent to the third party, he's going to help identify the best pages. So that's probably why when you compare your results in Bing for a query and a prompt in ChatGPT, you don't have the same pages being used. It's not always the top pages, because this AI search bot is like fixing and trying to find the best results, and also based on user interaction as well in the context, of course.
Yeah. Actually, I think probably a lot of us are going to have questions on like identifying what would be considered relevant content and optimizing that. So I think it'll be really good to hear that discussion in the next series.
Yeah, so I see a question I will immediately answer. If they have a proprietary index, that's what I just said, just like Bing, and that's not the case. It's more like a model that they're improving, but still using third-party search index.
Okay, good to
know. But yeah, still there is like sort of an indexation process. So not all the pages visited by OpenAI search bot are indexed or used. Traditional signals from SEO are still be considered. So robotics, of course, we knew that, but status code as well. So the page needs to be accessible. And meta robots, they confirm that no index pages, no index tags are being used. So probably that are easy signals to choose what's the best content, basically, following the traditional SEO signals.
Okay, making sure that...
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say also they use the content policy as a filter above all those search results.
Yeah, so it's good to keep in mind that we're still looking to make sure that pages are accessible. It can be reachable, accessible in the sense.
Yeah, and indexable, of course.
And indexable. Okay, so key kind of indicators. Can you tell us more about the value of OAI search bot and its bot hits, actually? What can we get from this?
So just to remind, so bot hits are visits from this bot. So with log analysis, you will have access to this amount of data. And what it means for you is that you can track this bot to prevent indexation issues, to ensure key content is accessible and crawled by this bot. So you can look at the status code, the server response time, and even if it's not operating at the time of the user interaction, like the fact that this bot is visiting your content is showing interest from ChatGPT in your content. And also probably it's showing like a trend in topics that are being asked to ChatGPT. Since we know that they're using, they're not going to query random queries to Bing. So if this bot is visiting, it's because there is interest in your content. So you can monitor this bot volume over time to see the trend, ensure key content is crawled on a regular basis also. And you can also identify crawl pages, so the most crawl pages and by content type as well. So what type of pages this bot is crawling. And something interesting would be also to check the last time this bot crawled the page to ensure it picked up your updates. Let's say you're starting to improve your actual content to fit a strategy that is targeting ChatGPT search. You want to make sure that this bot came on the page to see the latest updates, of course.
Nice. So we'll actually be able to see the last time it visited, how long it took, again, maybe after you made that change. And this could be a good test, actually, depending on what change you've made, whether it's to like your SEO tags, description changes, something like this, to see like what is actually resulting in SearchBot coming back after you've made that update.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see ChatGPT user now. So this one is acting in real time, and it's really the part that among the results that Bing is giving to ChatGPT, some of them will be crawled, and the content will be used in the answer, and you will get a citation. So that's really the key bot to monitor, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said this already, so he will fetch relevant content. Just like the other bot, he's not randomly crawling. He crawls what is in the search results, but it does not crawl all the search results. A web page protected by paywall or blocked by Robot60 or inaccessible due to server restrictions will not be crawled by this bot. Some of the search results that are not crawled by this bot will still be listed in the source tab. So it's not because this bot, so it doesn't mean you're not in the search results. And on the opposite, not all pages crawled by this ChatGPT user will be used as a citation, only the relevant content one and the one that is accessible and up to date. So if you see that ChatGPT user is crawling a lot of pages in 4, 4, or 5, or getting 500 errors, it doesn't mean, so it means that this page was targeted as relevant, that this page was also in the search results, but of course, it will not be used in the answer. So it will not be able to convert to traffic.
Right. So that would be a good way, actually, to maybe create a priority list of pages that need some attention if you're looking for it to actually be served in the response.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also, so probably some of you did that already and had discussion with John Campbell, who I will do the next webinar with, who did the test to actually check if what we're saying, that ChatGPT is being sent after a prompt. This is something you can immediately verify in your logs, but there is a caching system that you need to have in mind. If a page was recently accessed by ChatGPT user and remains relevant for another request, he will not recrawl immediately this page because for efficiency, of course. Unless the content is dynamic or very time sensitive. And in this case, the bot will come back each time you're answering a prompt, just to get the latest information. And also the work of OpenAI search bot, if he's, let's say, crawling your website for a specific topic and improving the results and improving the model, this might reduce the need for ChatGPT user to come on your page to get that same content, of course. So yeah, keep that in mind if you are testing, if you want to do manual testing and verify this information. Everything we're saying today is the results of studying the documentation and discussing with OpenAI support team. So they confirmed some of the things we've noticed in the logs. So yeah.
Nice. I actually wasn't familiar myself with the caching until you had mentioned it to me. So that's also another good way to actually test different changes that you make and to see how quickly does it come back actually to visit your page that you've made an update on.
Yeah.
So, nice. Can you kind of give us a recap on the value of ChatGPT user?
So I mentioned visibility at the start of the webinar. So that's why this is the most interesting metric here. So far, there is nothing such as impressions in ChatGPT. You just know when there is a click. But tracking this bot activity, it would be like a way of measuring the volume of prompt that requires the use of your content. Even if the page is not, even if ChatGPT is not going to use your content to answer, at least this bot is being sent for a prompt each time. So if he's visiting your page, it means somebody is asking a question to ChatGPT at the same time. So that's really valuable, and it's the most reliable visibility indicator so far. So you can use scraping tools, but you don't know actually if people are actually using the prompt that you are setting up in the tools. You don't know how many times a day or how many times a month those prompts are being used. Here, even if we don't know the topic, we don't know what the question is, at least we know that there is interest, that there is interaction with ChatGPT, and that your content is targeted. So it's really the key visibility indicator. And you will be able, using the log, we will be able to follow that over time. And we'll see later that you will be able to see that by page type and and really study that to get insights.
Yeah, I think actually it's a really good argument that if you're not already using your log files and this is a topic of interest for you, this is probably a really good way to actually start jumping in and taking a look at what does traffic look like overall. So that kind of leads us to log analysis with Oncrawl. What does that actually look like? We are going to do an in-app demo, but just kind of want to run through to you the different filters and the metrics that are available to you when you're analyzing your logs here with us. So like Jérôme mentioned, you're going to see the total volume of the bot hits, volume of all the unique pages that are crawled, as long as you're actually depositing all the necessary log lines, right, for it to be processed. You'll have the volume of all the referral traffic, volume of all unique pages with referral traffic. So something that you may not be seeing right now. In terms of your filtering, you're going to be able to identify between all the different, or the three bots, the status code that was encountered. So accessibility, what we were mentioning previously, and then your segmentation. It will be invaluable. You want to make sure that you have clear visibility on your site structure. We'll actually walk through the different type of segmentations that could be useful for you, depending on the industry that you're in, of course. You'll also have the option of using the time series. So you can select the actual period of time of traffic that you want to have visibility on. You can check the day-by-day evolution, hour-by-hour evolution. This all depends on how also often you deposit your log files, but we'll show you what this looks like actually in app. So you want to actually jump in for us?
Yeah, maybe I'll start sharing my screen so we have a look at the platform. This one here. Okay, you see my screen, Jana?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Yeah. I saw a question in the chat when I said that GPT bot is crawling a lot and like compared to Google. Actually, since we are monitoring also other search engines, this is actually something we could look at here. So let's look at GPT bot against Google desktop bot and mobile. So first, what we see is that it's not the same frequency. Like suddenly, GPT bot is coming and crawling your full website, and then it stops, and that's a lot. Actually, that's a lot of events. So here we're not looking at the number of pages, but the number of events, or the number of visits. We are really crawling a lot, and if we filter, we're able to select the bot we want to look at. So So let's let's select this GPT bot only. Okay. What type of pages this bot is looking at? So here I have a segmentation by page type. And here this segment others, those are the uncategorized pages. So for sure, those pages are not useful for SEO because we did the segmentation and it's targeting like our structure, articles, webinars, pagination, everything. And the rest is ending up here. So this bot is calling a lot of errors. And if we look at also the status codes, you see the amount of pages he's crawling that are not answering in 200. So yeah, it looks like this bot is really randomly crawling your website. And that's a lot of resources, of course, on your site. So we have a small website, but yeah, I can imagine for some of our clients with millions of pages, large websites, and every bot hit is sort of a cost as well. So we could block that one. Maybe if we focus on the two others that I mentioned, so search bot and ChatGPT user. So here it's interesting also to compare both of them. And you see, so ChatGPT user, that's the indicator of the visibility we have. So how many sort of questions are being asked and our content is relevant to it per day. And if we compare like the other bot, like the indexing bot, is not coming so often actually compared to the other one. Not so many pages. And again, it's interesting to see what type of content they're targeting. So I wanted to show that if we look at the last 7 days, we'll be able to look at this by hour and see how it's behaving around the day. That's super useful for if we just focus on those OpenAI chat users, because those are requests. So we can see we have a lot of requests around the day, but yeah, mostly during office hours, as you can see. Because I was wondering why we had so many requests on our website. Apparently, some of our users are using ChatGPT as a support team. They can reach out to us, but they prefer asking ChatGPT like to create some presentation and stuff like this, or maybe like to create a script using our API. So yeah, let's switch back to 30 days.
Yeah, don't hesitate to reach out to us when you do have a question.
So now let's focus on GPT bot a bit and see about this visibility. Yeah. So here we have the page types. What kind of, and no surprise, most of the content is article. Actually, I can switch to percentage. And I can even download the table if I want to rebid my own chart and download it as a CSV. So yeah, articles mainly, and that totally makes sense. And then the homepage, the blog homepage, yeah. Really intense.
And we can have a view, right? If we have, let's say, subdomains, what that looks like, or language regions.
Yeah, so let's look at the language, since we have French and English on our website. So now I'm switching to another segmentation that is saved based on the URL. And we see that our French website is not performing so well compared to the English version. It also tells about the audience we have, in what language they ask the questions. And article topics would be really interesting for medias. So if it's available in the URL, you can filter on it. And we see we have a lot of articles about technical SEO, of course, and then more inspirational things about SEO. Case studies are not really doing well. Events. Yeah, really interesting. And then we can look at the status code. And here, you remember, I showed you the status codes for GPT bot. Here, it's a lot cleaner. A lot of pages in 200, or at least in 3 or 4, and some redirects. But not so much crap. Then that's probably because Bing is doing the filtering, and it's based on search results. So since Bing is doing the job of filtering for ChatGPT, you have mainly pages that are indexable and answering. Yeah, do you want to, let's maybe look a bit at the OpenAI search bot.
Yeah, I think it would be nice. And we can even see down to the URL level, right? Like detail, if that's something that we need to check.
So here what we see first is the sort of a regularity, but that he's not really crawling a lot of pages. And that's something key. And that brings back the thing that indexation in technical SEO is still matters for ChatGPT search. So yeah, the type of content. So probably curious to see about the languages if we have the same trend. So that's interesting. He's scrolling French content a bit more, but still in terms of ChatGPT users, so sort of answers to questions, English was dominant. So yeah,
nice.
That tells a lot about the audience as well. And then here I can spot some pages in 500 that I should check for. I'm actually like not going to show, but yeah, or maybe I can, like, you click on it and you actually access the list of pages, see the status code, when the error actually happened, what is the page, and yeah, you can sort of troubleshoot. Now let's finish quickly with your visits. I'm going to switch to sources. So traffic sources, I will select OpenAI. And I go at the bottom, and here it's our traffic. So what is actually converting by language, by topics, and by page type. And yeah, unfortunately, we don't have, I don't think we have logs for the help center, but I would be really curious to see if articles are being used in ChatGPT to answer our users. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it for the demo. Maybe we should switch to the questions now and go back to the slides.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, I think we have a few questions. So let me just jump ahead so that we can do a really quick recap.
Maybe just the one about how to use that. This we covered already. Maybe the next slide about segmentation you mentioned.
Yeah, so depending on what industry you're in, if you're, media publishers, maybe you're e-commerce, maybe you want to look at the differences between your PLPs and PDPs. Publishers, if you're looking for content that's just been updated, something related to news, it would be useful to have some segmentation maybe on your article tags or topics. So having some sort of view on your taxonomy, like Jérôme showed, having some sort of language region, for example, segmentation, so that you can see which language is performing better. Also your website categories. So those are a few ideas based off what we've used, that we see users using, that gives them good visibility when they're actually leveraging their logs, right?
And actually segmentation is like custom, like the users can build its own segmentation. And that's part of the feature. It's not like we have a template. You apply your own categorization. It could be like, if you're doing like some A/B testing, or you want to categorize some pages and compare what's performing best, if the bot behavior is changing because you updated something, you can actually compare.
Yeah, so you have a lot of flexibility in the different rules and conditions you can make for your segmentation. So nice, awesome. Can you walk us through, Jérôme, the key takeaways?
Yes, so 2 bots that are key: ChatGPT user, OpenAI search bot. You can block GPT bot and still be in the results. A visit from ChatGPT user means visibility in ChatGPT. It's a prompt, not necessarily a citation, but it's close to it. And yeah, that's a key metric. OpenAI search bot is going to be very useful to track indexation issue and make sure that this one is everything is smooth for him. And you will be able also to, since it's not crawling a lot of pages, it's going to be very strategic. You want to make sure that what is crawling, and probably you could use this one also for linking strategies, based on pages that are crawled the most by this bot, so it discovers new content, etc. Traditional technical SEO still matters. Indexability, accessibility, those topics are still useful for ChatGPT search optimization. And you can as well track your traffic with the logs, and it's super useful. And then, you have all this data, and you can combine it with all the data you have. You will be able to monitor your efforts and identify some ranking patterns by applying segmentation, crossing the data with your crawl data. I mean, there is a lot of exploration possible. And we're working on it. And what we've shown here is the log monitoring part, but probably more is coming. And in the next webinar, we'll see also what kind of strategies you could use to be visible in ChatGPT.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Jérôme. Actually, leading right into that, can you tell us a bit about what's next? What can they expect when they join you next time?
Yes, so it's going to be in 3 weeks with Roast Agency. John Campbell, who is head of AI and innovation, is really working on that topic for a long time. Actually, he's already using the logs and also on Oncrawl for ChatGPT visibility. And it will be really more about practical strategies.
Awesome. So make sure to sign up. That's May 6th, same time, actually. So that'll be
we will share the deck, by the way, and with the replay. So,
awesome.
If you have questions about that. Yeah, Q&A. So curious to see what questions we have.
I think we have a few, so let me get in there. All right, let's see.
I'll try to change the display.
Let's see.
Faces again.
Let's see. You want me to go ahead and select a few?
Yeah, how do we change the display? Yeah, I see. Okay.
There we go. Perfect. Pushing.
Let's order them by date.
Okay.
How many questions we have? No, maybe by votes.
Okay. Upvotes.
Amandine. Hello, Amandine. Happy to see you in the webinar. Do you know of any tools that can define, evaluate the visibility on ChatGPT or track the question on Ask? We can see hits, but it might be interesting to know. Yeah. That's the other part. It's also part of the next webinar. I mean, many tools are on the market now. I don't know which one to cite. I know that John is going to talk about one. It's called Peak AI, something like this. I tried Dijon something. But really my focus was logs so far. Because it's not that I don't like this kind of tools, but the thing is, since you don't know the prompts, you can guess. It's an assumption. It's going to be useful. But I mean, it doesn't show anything about impressions and clicks, and so it's more of a guess. And
okay. At least what we're working with for now at this time. So thank you for your question, though. Next one.
Data about how often user activate the search. Good question.
I don't think there's any data yet.
There was a big study from SEMrush based on click streams, and I think this is mentioned in the study.
Nice.
Number of search with number of queries with search activated or without activation. Okay. I don't have the numbers in mind.
Okay. Next.
Do you think OpenAI use vectorization and embedding as a cache after a crawl to improve and reduce costs? So I don't know exactly, and they wouldn't share this when I asked the question exactly how the process. If they're using any of these techniques, I mean, probably, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Maybe some answers are because like they're releasing a lot of new features now, and search is available in the API. So I guess if you dig into how this works, also with this agent feature that can access internet as search results as well, maybe this will give some answers. But like ChatGPT search is really a feature, spirited feature.
Okay.
Sorry, no more details. Sorry.
Just no, it's all good. It's all good.
Some regions are actually blocked by my WAF.
I just had that. Sorry, I just want to put it up for everyone. Yeah.
How could I use ChatGPT? Have access to my server? Yes, so you could whitelist ChatGPT's IP addresses. So they are disclosing the IP addresses they are using. Also, if there is a whitelisting system by user agent, could combine both. If you have access to your logs, you will be able to check immediately if you have any bot hits from any of the 3 user agents to immediately see if they are really blocked. Yeah. So you have the documentation. I think I have the link somewhere. OpenAI, but they're really disclosing the so Jean-François, I'll send you the documentation with the IP addresses list.
Yeah, and if it's new actually for you, depending on who's joined us, you want to have that conversation right with your devs or infrastructure team. You can send that over when you're looking to enable that.
Another question. This one. Since it sends queries to Bing, is there a connection to the Bing user agent in the log file, or do we need to look at its own user agent, as you mentioned? What we know is that they're not using the traditional UI or API, just like users. They have like a partnership with Bing. So it's an API. So they have another way to request Bing's results that is completely different. So I don't think there is a connection between Bing's bot's behavior and the user agent. So yeah, something interesting also. If you have since you can track also Bing's bot behavior in your link would be, and plus Bing is providing tools such as the Webmaster tool. You will be able to see what is ranking well, what pages are accessed by Bing, and see if it correlates with actual traffic from ChatGPT user. So, Thomas, if we divide the number of visits by the number of hits, could we get some sort of exactly? Yeah, I forgot to tell. That's a good point. So if we say that ChatGPT user bot hits is some sort of impressions, you have the clicks with the visits. You have some sort of CTR, so a conversion rate from being crawled for a prompt and actually generating a click. And probably, I don't know if there is any study, but probably like citation are getting clicked a lot more than sources, of course, because they are in the answer. Just like in Google, you would have more clicks on the first position than the bottom of the first page, of course. So yeah, and actually, like on some of the custom dashboards that I made using this data to get it against crawl, I was doing this ratio to measure like over time this CTR could be a good indicator.
Nice.
Yep. Great question.
Next one, Martin. Can the ChatGPT bot enter my pages if I didn't specify or allow bots to buy the robots.txt? I guess if you didn't disallow, then yes, it can. If I'm understanding the question correctly.
Yeah, I think the question is if robot.txt is blocking the page,
can it still?
He cannot. For sure, the OpenAI search bot will follow these rules. Plus, we see in the logs I have access to a lot of bot hits on the robot.txt, we see also a lot of bot hits on the sitemaps as well. Interesting to track this. Actually, I didn't show in the demo, but you can filter on the page if you want. If you want to focus just on one page, or if you want to focus like on all your sitemaps, possible. ChatGPT user is as well as crawling the robot.txt. So it means it's supposed to, plus the documentation says so. But maybe, I don't know how exactly it works, but maybe like if there is a latency between last time the robot.txt was checked and your update, maybe even with a disallow, you might be able to crawl the page.
I guess it would be a good way to check how long it takes.
Exactly, but yeah, could be a good test actually.
Yeah.
But you're going to lose visibility.
True.
So do that on a fake website or something.
Good question. Thank you. I think we have time for a few more.
So Thomas again, I want to track how often my website appears in responses. The best KPI, yeah, correct. Yeah. Also, a single response includes 2 of my links. That would count as 2 hits. Exactly. So let's say it's a specific question on your brand, or somebody is like specifically asking about content from your website. And I did some tests like in prompts like about Oncrawl, since I had access to the logs. I was asking like for a summary of a feature. And it was crawling not only one page, but more. So, but on the other hand, at some point, there was no bot hit anymore because of this caching system also. So if you keep asking and you keep making tests, it will go down. So yeah, so one prompt might generate 2 or 3 hits on your website. But actually, if you look at the time and hour, you can spot when it was for the same question because it's at the same time. So you can group the pages by hour and see if it was just for one prompt or several. But yeah, but this is like, I'm not sure if we take like the mass of users using ChatGPT, that they will specifically target a website or a topic. This is like mostly a corner case, I would say.
Okay, good question. Next.
Again, the robot.txt, so we shared this, yeah.
Talk about this one.
But the question is still interesting so about, and plus I had this question with some of our users about using not serving the same page for OpenAI and the actual users. So I believe this will work until they know about it. It feels like I've seen on LinkedIn like some tests with people putting prompt instructions in their article and testing, asking the bot to not say something or to say something that is not in the content until they fixed it. I think like I'm not sure exactly, but maybe in OpenAI's team they don't have SEOs or people from the SEO world, and they don't know yet that SEOs will try to find the opportunities and try to cheat. But yeah, this I guess this would work until they find out about it. But you're not serving the same content for their bots. But maybe they don't care because they just want to get the best answers for their users. So as long as the content is right. Yeah.
Nice. I think we might actually be at time. Should we take one more?
Yes. So the LLM TXT.
How does LLM TXT fit into this window? If we implement it, can we increase the bot hits from the RAG models for certain pages we want to focus?
So unfortunately, like at Oncrawl, we don't have one. I wanted to implement one and see if ChatGPT is actually crawling it. I believe it's not going to be used by ChatGPT, but maybe other LLMs are going to rely on it because it's like making things easier for them. But yeah, we still need to verify if bots are actually using that and accessing this file. I have like a small test website. I added one. I didn't check yet, but it doesn't have much traffic from OpenAI, so I cannot answer. And in our users so far, nobody's using an LLM TXT. I think, yeah, let's wait until they say that they actually use it. Probably like if they want to use it because it's making things easier for them, they will tell us about it and they will tell the community, and it will be time to put one. I think it's taking some time to create one. It's not as easy as the robot.txt. So yeah, for now, I would say it's almost a waste of time. But if you have one with the logs, you will see actually if they look at this file or not.
Yeah.
Like because they look at a lot at the robot.txt. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to compare too between the two.
So compare sitemaps, robot.txt with this LLM text.
Nice, awesome. I think that's it. I think we're actually running over time now.
Yes, sorry guys. And thank you, Eric, for sharing the IP addresses to everybody. Yeah, so we'll see if we have time after the webinar to answer other questions by email. And yeah, thank you, Jana.
Thank you, Jérôme. That was awesome.
Thank you, everybody, for attending.
Yeah, you're a great audience.
See you at the next webinar.
Yeah, for sure. Don't hesitate. Register now so that you can see Jérôme and hear a little bit more about opportunities and improving your strategy. So thanks, everybody.
Thanks. Bye.